It isn't like 28-year-old Yesenia Suarez, a hard-working mother of two, to miss her morning chat with her mom. But despite repeated calls, Yesenia's not answering her phone. Felicita then tries her daughter's workplace.
They told me she was gonna work from home, but they haven't heard from her either. I felt a little bit funny about it. So then I called her husband.
Yesenia's husband, Luis Toledo, also doesn't pick up. By 10 a.m., and still no word from Yesenia, Felicita drives to her daughter's home.
When I got to the house, I knocked on the door, and then the police came. I told the police, please, open the house.
Moments later, Yesenia's husband, Luis, arrives.
He got out of the car, and I said, Luis, where's my daughter? He goes, she left last night.
Luis tells Felicita that Yesenia left with her children at some point while he slept. He has no idea where they went. Police ask Luis to let them into the house, which he does immediately.
As the officer walks through the house, he notices that everything is put away, neat, tidy. There's a basket of folded laundry on one of the couches. I mean, nothing is out of place, perfectly clean.
There were not any kind of signs of a struggle or what investigators would see at a house that had been ransacked or burglarized.
While investigators continue to look around, Felicita calls the one place she hasn't checked: the school where her grandchildren, 9-year-old Talia and 8-year-old Elijah, attend.
When they said my grandkids weren't in school, I was panicking, shaking.
Yesenia's very strong-minded about my niece and my nephew's education, so they wouldn't miss school unless they were, let's say, sick. Something was just not adding up.
As they typically do, police start close to home by looking at Yesenia's husband, Luis Toledo. Yesenia gradually realized that Luis's tough exterior came from a rough past. He had been a member of the Latin Kings gang and had a criminal record, but he had made an effort to put that chapter behind him.
2 years after living together, they decided to get married. They decided to get baptized at church to, be that Christian family.
Luis even turned on his old gang by becoming a witness for the state. It seemed that Yesenia had found her happily ever after with Luis. But 2 years into their marriage, their relationship started to change.
Toledo had suspected for some time that Yesenia was having an affair. He started confronting her more and more, and ultimately learned that she was having an affair with a coworker.
The day before Yesenia goes missing, Luis's jealousy reaches a boiling point.
He went to the workplace to confront her and to confront the coworker.
I was wondering if I could have a police officer come to an office building. We have somebody that will not leave. Give me 1 second, okay?
He kind of stormed into the building, caused a large disturbance in the middle of the office, confronted her.
Both of y'all deserve each other, man. That's all I'm saying. And I got some messages to show you.
I hear some disturbance in the background. I'm sorry, I can't hear you because they're having confrontation in front of me now. I'm sorry.
She tried to get him to quiet down and move into her private office. He did, and then he slapped her, actually put his hands on her and hit her.
Are there any weapons involved, ma'am? No, not at all. And it looks like he's leaving now.
Officers arrived, but he had actually left the premises. There were charges outstanding as a result of that occurrence.
With Yesenia, Talia, and Elijah now missing, Luis Toledo is squarely on detectives' radar. They can't take any chances.
Toledo was arrested on charges related to the domestic violence that occurred at the office the day before.
Yo, how can this be a missing person? She hasn't even been gone a couple hours, Right.
Luis continues to insist he doesn't know where Yesenia and the children are. But investigators can't get past the confrontation at Yesenia's workplace the day before. That evening, Jasenia and the kids ate dinner at Felicita's home. Lewis claims that just after 1 a.m., he walked outside the house and saw his neighbor, Tyshawn Jackson. They chatted briefly. Then Lewis slept in his car and went back into the house around 8 a.m.
Like a real good investigation room, huh? Yeah, man.
But Tyshawn tells police a different story.
He says they drive a county away, probably 45 minutes in the car. All the time, Tyshawn Jackson is thinking he needs to get a brake job or something. Toledo parks the car in a Publix parking lot.
What exactly happened? As soon as you pull up, what do you see? I see Louis standing outside. Like he's by the door, he looked back at me. Then like he looked back and started cleaning the car down, wiping it down.
He says Toledo is spraying down the car, wiping down the handles, taking items out of the vehicle and stuffing them into plastic bags.
As soon as he like cleaned the car and stuff, I had a feeling like something bad happened in the house last night.
He says Toledo comes over and tells him to get out of the driver's seat that he's driving. Tyshawn hops in the passenger seat, and for the 45-minute ride home, Toledo doesn't say a word, not a single word to him. Along the ride home from the location where he dumped Jasenia's car, Toledo stops behind an apartment complex parking lot and throws a bunch of stuff in the dumpster. Ty has no idea what it is. He says it's the most uncomfortable ride of his life. When they get about a mile from the house, there's a red light. Toledo looks at him and says, "I just snapped," and doesn't say another word. He talks to law enforcement at the station for a long, long time. He ends up going on a ride, showing them the route that he traveled with Toledo, showing them where the car was abandoned, and ultimately takes them to the dumpster where we were able to recover some of the personal effects, some of the property of Toledo and Jasenia.
As dawn breaks, nearly 24 hours into the search, there's still no sign of Jasenia, Talia, and Elijah. Lewis says that when both he and Tyshawn went inside the house to play video games, the situation soon escalated.
She got up when she saw Tyshawn. She started going off on me, whatever, da-da-da. And she told that she wanted everybody to leave. She wanted me to get out the house. I told her I didn't have to go. She came at me. She grabbed me on the back. I got these scratches back here. She grabbed me from the back. I just got upset. I got so tired of her grabbing on me. I couldn't get her over the neck. She fell down on the floor, holding her neck, looking at me. She couldn't breathe. She stopped breathing.
All this time, Talia and Elijah are home.
The kids came out of the room because of the screams. I told Tyshawn, take him over there, please take him.
There's this panic in the home as the kids run out and see their mother dying. Toledo asks Tyshawn Jackson to take the kids in the other room so that he can help his dying wife on the floor.
He came back out, he asked me if she was dead. I said, yeah. He went back to the bathroom. I heard blah, blah, blah. I went over there, he had the fucking thing in his hand. He hit my kids in the head. There was blood everywhere.
Instead of taking them safely into the other room, the story that Toledo tells is that Tyshawn Jackson took them into the other room and got an axe and hit them in the heads.
I told him, what the did he do? He told me. He can't go to jail for my wife's murder. The kids saw it. I said, oh my God, Tyshawn, you killed my kids. You killed my kids.
Lewis claims Tyshawn told him what needed to happen next.
He said, you could get rid of them. So he took the shovel, he put them in the car, in the trunk. I helped him carry them. And he left and I started cleaning everything up. I don't know what he did with them. I don't know. I'll tell you, I don't know where they at. I don't know. It didn't hurt my babies, I swear.
Police still don't know where Jasenia and her children are, but they're confident they're not alive.
Lewis told me they're dead. Okay, he's giving me specifics as far as how they died, and he put you as the primary person responsible for some of their deaths. Not all of them, but some of them.
He did not put me in no primary respect like that.
He didn't. Why would I at you? Why would
I did not have anything to do with their death.
Once again, Tyshawn recounts the events of October 23rd, just as he had several times before. His story doesn't change.
I did not leave my house Wednesday night at all. 0. Left my house 6:11 Thursday morning.
We tried to learn more about Ty. We went and talked to his mom. We talked to people that knew him well. We took polygraph tests, and while they're not admissible, they tell you a lot about a person. We conducted a search warrant on his house, looking for items of clothing, looking for any evidence of blood related to the kids. Ultimately, what we found is that Ty was not there that night. Ty didn't have anything to do with the death of the kids. Toledo was completely full of it, and this was his effort to cover up what he had done himself.
All the evidence tells investigators one thing.
It was abundantly clear that he had killed Jasenia and the kids.
Luis Toledo is formally charged with second-degree murder of Jasenia Suarez and first-degree murder of her 2 children, Talia and Elijah. The prosecution plans to seek the death penalty.
One of our themes in defending Mr. Toledo is that, yes, the children are more likely dead than not, but how were they murdered? Were they murdered with an instrument? If so, what type of instrument? Those are questions that were unanswered.
I got so tired of her grabbing on me. I couldn't get her open. The neck, she stopped breathing. She died looking at me.
Lewis's interrogation and the video of that came in and the jury saw it. Now we had to rebut that and defend that in front of the jury. And that made the case very difficult.
After deliberating for a single day, the jury returns a verdict. They find Luis Toledo guilty of first-degree murder for the deaths of Talia and Elijah, and guilty of second-degree murder for the death of Jasenia.
It was hard, but when they read the verdict, it was a happiness in a way, a happiness that justice was taking place.
After a 4-day sentencing phase, the jury decides Luis Toledo's ultimate fate. According to Florida state law, a decision to impose the death penalty must be unanimous.
Our vote to impose the sentence of life is 10-2.
And then it sunk in that, all right, he's not going to get the death penalty in this case. Our job was to keep him off of Florida death row. We did that.
I felt it was the right punishment. I remember I used to tell them that I don't kill people. We don't murder.
Happy birthday.
Justice can only do so much to ease the pain of losing Jasenia, Talia, and Elijah, and still not knowing where they are.